In this video, we are going to discuss about separating mixtures. The first way of separating mixture is through decantation. It can be done by allowing the mixture to settle and separate by gravity. This process can be slow and tedious without the aid of the centrifuge. It can also be done by scooping or pouring out the layers of each liquid. Example of mixture that can be separated through decantation is blood and plasma, cream and milk, oil and water. An illustration on how we can separate the plasma from the blood cells through decantation. The second way of separating mixture is through evaporation. It can be done by letting the solvent evaporate through boiling or heating to leave the solute behind. Example of this are mixtures of dye from ink, purifying water, and the seawater if we are going to obtain or to get the salt from seawater, just like what they are doing in Pangasinan. Separating mixture is through filtration. It can be done by placing a medium through which the mixture can pass. It is also the most important process in water treatment. Example is for blood, which is filtered or cleaned during dialysis, those who are having kidney trouble or kidney problem, coffee, water purification. So this is an example of a filtering setup. So in the glass panel, you can see there a filter paper which is placed on it, and then the mixture that you would like to filter will be put on top of the funnel. And then the one or the part that will be dropping or the filtrate that will go down the flask will be cleaner compared to the original liquid mixture. The method of separating mixture is sieving. It is done by letting the mixture pass through a sieve or a strainer. Example of that is refining flour, separating bigger parts of rocks from finer sand, just like what they're doing during construction, and preparing a tea. Next way of separating mixture is through magnetism. It can be done by using a magnet to separate the metal components of a mixture. Take note, magnetism can only be done if the mixture is composed of two solid parts, and the one part should be attracted with the magnet. Example of this is separation of cobalt, iron, nickel, and separating iron nails from plastic clips. Separating mixtures through separating funnel, or in some textbooks they call it a separatory funnel. Two liquids that do not dissolve well in each other, or what we call as immiscible liquids, can be separated by taking advantage of their unequal density. One part of the immiscible mixture can be drained first. In this case, we can separate oil and water using separating funnel. So this is an example of a separating funnel used in laboratories. Mixtures through distillation. This method is best for separating liquid from a solution. In a way, The concept is similar to evaporation, but in this case, the vapor is collected by condensation. Example of mixtures that can be separated through distillation is salt and water and alcohol water. So this is an example of a setup for distillation process. Next way of separating mixture is through winnowing, the process of separation of lighter and heavier particles from the mixture by wind or blowing air. Example of this is separating grains from chaff and weevils, which is common in farmlands or in our barrios. Next is the use of centrifuge. A centrifuge is used to separate small amounts of solid held in suspension from the liquid. The centrifuge contains test tubes that are spun around at high speed that causes the solid to sink to the bottom of the tube. The liquid is decanted or poured off, leaving the solid behind. Example is the separating of blood. So this is a picture of a centrifuge in laboratories. Is separating by panning. Some minerals like gold can be obtained not only by mining but also by panning. It is one of the oldest methods of looking for gold in riverbeds. So this is an example of gold panning which is done in northern Luzon. In the second picture, you can see their dust of gold which are then collected and then sold in the market. Okay, so we're going to have an activity here. The direction goes, identify what method of separating mixture can be used to separate the given mixture. First is oil and water. What method can be used to separate these two? Correct. Decantation, distillation, and separating funnel. Next mixture, plastic fastener and metal clips. This is very easy. Correct. That is magnet. Sugar and water. Correct. Through evaporation. Alcohol and water. Yes, distillation. Components of blood. Yes, through centrifuge. Rice grains from rice cover. Winnowing. Small stones and fine sand. Sieving. Silt and water. Filtration. Thank you for watching and see you in our next video lesson in Science 6.